All right, guys. So first real issue with the Wolverine Yamaha. Please fix this. This could hurt somebody. And after I had this issue, I did some research, and it's a common issue. My Wolverine had been leaning to one side, and I was looking it over before ride, and I noticed some rust on the upper shock tower. You can see it right there. That's what caught my eye, and I was like, that doesn't look right. So I pulled the plastics off and took a closer look, and you can see that they totally missed the weld in the bottom. It didn't penetrate, and it peeled right off the frame. It's starting to that weld was good, but it's starting to crack as well. And then if you take all the plastics off, you can see that the shock tower is bent up like 2.5 inches. So that's supposed to be straight all the way across. So that's why my unit was leaning, and I fixed it, but it could have been bad.
You good?
Keep going, huh? Well, it's getting there.
How was that?
I'm telling you, it's the welder. Good job, man.
That'll be an easy spot to weld. I think this is going to shock me if I hold this while I weld it.
This is by no means the best way to fix it. This was a fix that we did at midnight after a 10-hour drive at my buddy's garage with some scrap metal before a ride. It held up great. I'll probably never fix it unless it breaks because it's only temporary unless it works, right? So what I did was I put a piece of angle iron along the front to reinforce it, just a little 10-inch piece, and then I added a truss on the back side of the shock tower mount down to that frame piece that drops down. I don't have a picture of it or a video. And with the plastics in place, you can't see this repair at all. So even though it's hideous, no one's ever going to see it. So I take it to the dealership for a warranty item. They're not going to notice that I had to weld it back together. But it handled some crazy rocks and some serious abuse, and I'll edit that footage now so you can check it out. So I think it's a good fix. I went ahead and added a little truss on the other side just to prevent this from happening there eventually. But the other side does look like it's been welded a little better. So I really think that, this was engineered cheap, very thin metal, trying to save weight and save cost because it's a cheap side-by-side. And I think if they would have just got that weld better, it would have been fine. But they kind of skipped that weld, and the fact that it was already barely strong enough let it start to fail. The way it all ties into the plastics, I suspect that my plastics and those little brackets right there were actually the only thing holding it from completely collapsing.
Tell me it's going to work, Paul.
All right.
Yeah. Let's find a way to reinforce the other side.
And before someone comments it, obviously I do a lot of stupid stuff with my machines, and this was probably the result of abuse, like jumping it, for instance, in that other video where I was launching this thing about 10 feet. However, this should never fail, and I'm not the only one having these issues. I did have a high lift or bracket lift on it at one point, and I suspect that could have contributed to this cracking, but you can totally see that there was a missed weld there, so you really can't blame the high lift or bracket lift. I think this is all on Yamaha. They're just trying to make it too fast and too cheap.
Foot.